Hey guys, how are you all doing? This is going to come out as an energy update. I was going to start off by apologizing for not being online, but honestly, I have unapologetically needed to take some time. I know I sound very dramatical with all of this. I mean, obviously, I've been functioning, I've been working and things like that. But with the energy updates, first of all, I am guided when to do them. But more than that, if I'm feeling a bit funky, I can't channel clearly for you guys in terms of this kind of stuff. Okay, because it's a general channel. It's not like when I'm sitting down to do a reading and I'm focusing on what the client's needs are and reading the energy. So it's a slightly different energy for me. What I do want to say around this is that today's energy update is very much about recognizing when we need to take these breaks to recalibrate. Now, Kelso has come through very specifically with information around this today, so I will just simply be the telephone passing on the message, as always. This really is about understanding when we need to recalibrate. Sorry, I got itchy nose here. What I mean by that is after our healings and talking about our frequency actually and understanding that we need to actually realign with new energy and new frequency. Okay. So the last energy updates I've spoken about the healing. I'm not going back into that whole traumatic healing because that was really traumatic for me. But what I do want to say is since the healing, I have kind of been lost at sea for quite a while. I mean, that healing started end of July, ended, I want to say, probably about the beginning of October. And since then, I've really felt like adrift. Like I've just felt like I'm not myself. I can't get to terms with certain things. Everything around me has changed, and yet I am unclear on how to navigate it, to be honest. So, in a way, this little video is going to kind of be about how to navigate moving forward, what we need to look at, how to recognize these kinds of spaces, because I feel like this year has been a massive year in terms of healing and I say recalibrating, that's not the right word. Healing, releasing, getting into alignment. Guys, even here's the thing. Everyone's like, well, I can't, getting into alignment shouldn't feel like this. Well, actually, it does. It does feel like this. There has been so much chaos and trauma this year. Everybody's been feeling it. I think there are very few people in my space that can't say that they haven't had some kind of traumatic events. And I know life happens. Again, I'm talking about we do lose family members and, that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about on a very personal soul level. Things that have truly triggered us into making changes, into healing, okay? The different parts of ourselves that need to be healed. And I have been so lost at sea with regards to who I am. Everything has changed for me. And what I mean by that is that I have continued to do things the way that I've always done them in my life. Okay? And they're not working anymore. Even in my business, the way I have done things in the past in my business is no longer effective at all. It's just not working at all. So everything that I know and I have known, every programming that I've developed, and I'm talking about like as in programs around how I run my business, how I do things in my life, all of that has come to a standstill. Nothing feels safe in my life at the moment. I don't think that there's any particular, in fact, there's not a single area of my life where I have complete clarity or where I feel is completely at peace. Every part of my life has felt in the last couple of weeks like absolute chaos and unclear. It's been foggy. I haven't been able to see the way forward with it. It's been just unsettling for me. I'm a Cancerian, right? So I need my stability. I'm also a 22-4 life path. The 4 in that requires stability, okay? And none of that's felt safe. Nothing in my life has felt safe for the last couple of weeks. And not last night, the night before, I had an interaction with a client, and it really triggered me. It really triggered me badly. And I had myself a little breakdown because I was just so over everything. I was just so sick and tired of all sorts of things going like pear-shaped in my space, and or coming into my space and then being pulled out of my space, and having clients who are not respectful of my time and energy and boundaries. And it's really funny because I'm so good at that stuff, right? And I've always clearly vocalized that I need to set boundaries. This is important. I promise you this is relevant. I've always been very clear about my boundaries. Even with my friends, I'm very vocal about my boundaries, and I'm going to say this to all of you. So for those of you who are in the process of learning how to set boundaries, I want you to be very clear on this. Not one single living, breathing person needs to understand your boundaries. What they need to do is respect them, no questions asked. Okay? However, in order to do that, you need to respect other people's boundaries, which I'm very good at. I will give you your space. I won't interfere. I will take a step back. I will hold space for you. I will, whatever it is, do what you dig. Okay? Right? I'm very much about radical acceptance and path of least resistance in my life. But even my boundaries, like this kept on coming up, And so 2 nights ago, I had this just breakdown. I was just so angry. I was like absolutely frustrated. And I just sat there and I was like, I'm so irritated with all of this. I'm so over it. I'm so frustrated and I'm not happy. I'm just not happy. And I went to bed that night saying to the universe, to myself, to a friend, that this healing that I've been through has been absolutely the worst thing that could have happened to me, because I've come out of the biggest healing of my life, and my life is 10 times worse for having gone through this healing. And my resentment and my frustration around that is that if you're putting in the work to evolve, this shit shouldn't be this hard. It's that simple. Okay. I woke up the next morning at 3 a.m. and Kelso showed me this image at 3 a.m. Please, they don't like wait for you to get up and have tea or nothing. And it was it was like a town that had been leveled. There was just piles of rubble everywhere. Okay. And he said to me, you are trying to live your life at your old frequency. You can't do that anymore. It's not possible. He said, you have gone literally through the biggest healing of your life. You have, right? By admission of my grandmother, who has crossed over, she came through to me and she thanked me for the healing. So now I know that I've healed 3 generations, right, of core woundings of maternal abandonment. How do you expect to work at the same frequency you were before? You have released in those 9.5 weeks so much of your baggage. It is intrinsically impossible for your frequency to remain what it was. You are trying to make a square candle with a round mold, was the example I was given. And at 3:30 in the morning, I was sitting in bed going, what the fuck? Like, how had I not made this connection? How had I not thought about this? How had I not come to this conclusion? I teach this shit. I mean, surely to God, when you teach this stuff, you should be able to make these connections faster, right? And he said to me, well, the residual energy, you need to clear cords, you need to do all of that, cut cords and all of that. He said, just clear out the residual energy. He said, but you cannot work from the old places that you work from. It's not possible. They're not going to function for you. They don't exist in your reality anymore. They can't. You've released them. And so at 46 years old, I'm feeling a lot like I'm having to relearn me. Now, at my core, I'm still the same. I've still got a foul mouth and a foul mind and a dirty sense of humor. And like, I'm still will go out after whatever time it is and go and save the cricket that's drowning in the pool. And I will still take time over my fur child, other than people. I'm still me. Like, I'm still weird and crazy and all of that shit. I'm still me, right? But at a higher vibration. And I haven't been tuning into that vibration. I've just been lost at sea, completely lost at sea. Okay. Now, I'm not here to tell you my story again, right? But this is the best example that I can use for you to understand that it is imperative when you start feeling like this and you have come out of a big healing, any healing, you've got to recalibrate after any healing, that you take some time to realign in with your new energy, right? And in the last couple of weeks, my intuition has been saying things to me like meditate more, spend more time being creative, do this, do that. That's obviously the way that I need to work now. Not to say that I don't need to actually work. What I mean is, in order for my frequency to raise, I now have a higher level of requirement for meditations, for creativity, for time in nature, right? Whatever it is that my intuition has pulled into me, I'm starting to sit there and go, oh, right, I've been getting these hints all along, and I've been going, I don't have the time or the energy to meditate. I just, I'm so feeling lost. And that's exactly the time I should have been meditating. I'm just putting that out there gently in the corner. But my intuition has been like spurring me on to these little hints about what needs to happen in order for me to reach the vibration my actual soul is at. Okay, my ego now needs to catch up. Let's put it that way. The human aspect of my soul needs to catch up now. So this video is about you stopping for a minute, catching your breath, and taking stock. If you've come out of healings and you are feeling lost and you're feeling like things are changing, let me explain to you that it has been such a big change in my life that even my taste has changed. My physical taste, right? Everybody who knows me knows that my favorite tea in the whole world is Twinings Earl Grey. It's my favorite. My aunt came back from the UK and she bought me beautiful packs of Twinings Earl Grey. And I've been drinking the Lipton Earl Grey because, 100 Rand for a box of tea is just like 10 tea bags is a bit much. But anyway, and it's a treat for me. It's a real treat for me. And then I've also used to drink the Forage and Feast, the Checkers one, right? Okay, so I have loved the Lipton one. It's been something that I've really grown to love, more so than the Forage and Feast. The last couple of weeks I've been like, this Lipton's a bit like strong and it feels a bit bitter and it's not great. And then I got the Twinings and I had some of the Twinings and it didn't taste anything like it used to taste for me. It just didn't. It tasted completely different to how Twinings Earl Grey used to taste for me. And I was like, And so then I ordered the Forage and Feast and I was like, okay, I'm back with this. I'm good with this. So I'm telling you that not to be random, but to say to you that you will have signs. There will be signs out there to let you know that it's time to stop and recalibrate. Okay, guys, I need to say this to you. Kelso gave this to me the other day in a very, 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 very poignant kind of way. Before I went into doing the 2025 year ahead reading, right, which is on my other channel, Mystery's Breath. It is up. It's been up for a couple of days. Go and have a look, right? It's a powerful year next year. It's about making our moves. And a lot of it is down to us. There were not many major arcana in that reading, which means it's on us to create our reality. Now, if you are doing the work and you are doing the healings, right, but you are not aligning with the frequency that you should be, like I'm not, your manifestations aren't going to come into play. They can't. Which is creating huge frustration in my space. And I couldn't understand why. I was doing all the right things. I was showing up all the right ways. But they were all the old ways. Okay? And it's really important for you to understand that this year, the image that Kelso gave me was a sports one. I was like, know your audience, but there we go. It was about volleyball. And he said, there are years that are set up years, and there are years that are goal years. And he said to me, 2024 and 2025, specifically 2025, are massive setup years. And he showed me the player near the net, letting the ball up so that the other one can jump and like score over into the opponent's side over the net, right? In volleyball. And he said, these are setup years. Okay. We've had an 8th year this year. Karma, especially with all of the outer planetary retrogrades, okay? And Pluto, especially again, okay, I've said this a million times now, right? For the cardinal signs and for the cheap seats at the back who haven't been listening to me, we have a matter of days. We have 11 days, right? Until Pluto goes direct in Aquarius. For the cardinal signs, we are sighing a sigh of relief after a hugely dramatic and hard karmic period from 2008. It goes into Aquarius, and I want to say that's fixed signs. Good luck and Godspeed, my angels. We're passing on the baton now. We're done. We're done. But good luck with you guys. Sending you lots of love and good energy for that. For the cardinals, particularly the cardinals, I'm going to say to you, now is the time to make sure that you are clearing up and tying off loose ends before the 19th. Do whatever it is that you need to do, but do it quick. Okay. And for those who don't know, the cardinal signs are Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, and Aries. Okay. It's all the opposite signs. Okay. So Aries and Libra, opposite each other. Cancer and Capricorn, opposite each other. Okay. So Kelso has been very clear that the next 2 years are very much about setups. The planets are all assisting us with all of this movement, right? We've had a lot of planetary action this year. Can we just take a moment at how hard this year's been, like a moment of silence and maybe a gin and tonic, because what the actual fuck? But we got through it, right? We're getting through it, we're near the end. Kind of, sort of, almost. Take the next couple of weeks to really reassess. If you have been doing the work and you are still feeling like you are not where you're meant to be and you are feeling lost in translation and things just feel out of sorts and unsettled, understand that you are needing to find other ways to do things. Your old programming is out. You cannot run that programming again. That is like trying to put a VHS tape into a DVD player and make it work. Can't do it. You just can't do it. It's not going to work. I mean, how old school am I to use that example? But rah, there we go. Okay, you cannot do it. We are now facing a space with new technology. That's it. That's exactly what it is for us. It's new emotional and spiritual technology. So we now have to learn how to use that. And of course, we always say, oh, we don't come with a manual. Well, actually, we do. We've got our intuition, and we need to be playing into that and listening to that. So my energy update today is very much about... Sorry, there's a little worm that's eating my table. Naughty little monster. Getting clear on what you've healed, what you have healed, knowing where you've healed. And I did say this, I did that healing video afterwards, telling you what kinds of healings they were. Go and have a look at it, about the different types of healing. Okay. What I'm also going to say to you is that you need to actually now try and work out what programs have changed for you, okay, and how you need to work the new information. What does the new technology bring to your table? Because it's upgraded. It is upgraded. So technically it'll make your life easier and smoother and more abundant if we actually learn to work with the technology that's actually been now given to us with the upgrades. Okay. So I'm going to say that I think the next couple of weeks are going to require a lot of meditation, guys. Look at the physical signs. If you are waking up in the middle of the night with anxiety, okay, and it's around a specific thing, it's the same constant thing. Now, I'm not saying that if you don't have a job and you're worried about money, okay, but if you've been doing the work, look at your financial trigger. Look at it. Have you done the work around abundance? Do you think that it's done, but you're still not reaping the reward? Okay, so what do you need to do to change that? Because your programming is now different, right? That's like going to try and insert your card to get money when you actually need to tap. Okay? You guys are going to have to start really fine-tuning your understanding of how you work. It's that simple. It genuinely is that simple. So please be aware of this. Please make sure that over the next couple of months, not even months, the next 2 months, okay, before we go into 2025, because I think 2025 is going to come with a whole range of different things. There is a lot of decision making for us next year. There's a lot of having to put ourselves into places that are going to be taking us out of comfort zones, but it's all about us getting to where we need to be for 2026. Okay, next year is a 9-year, guys. It's an endings year. Okay, it's checking how far we come. What cycles do we need to completely wrap up? What do we need to do before 2026, which becomes a 1-year? It's the start of a whole new 9-year cycle. Fresh start, clean slate. Okay, what are we needing to do for that? Make sure that you are paying attention. And I want to say, Kelsey's saying, one of the things that you really need to pay attention to, if the things that you have loved are no longer things that appeal to you, or if there are people in your space that are no longer appealing to you, and I don't mean people are disposable. What I mean is if you feel like you are out of alignment with something or someone or a situation or a job, it's time to make those moves. It means that those things are no longer in alignment with your soul frequency. Okay, so please pay attention. Next year is going to require us to be very clear about where we want to go, how we want to do things, and we're going to have to make those choices. But we're going to make poor choices if we are trying to work from obsolete programming. It can't happen. So I am hoping that this helps a little bit, guys, but make sure that you guys are actually tuning into this. If you are doing the work on yourselves, and you are feeling like I was completely lost. I mean, at 46 years old, I'm having to relearn myself energetically completely. And for the first day, I felt overwhelmed, and now it's an adventure. I'm going to turn it into an adventure. And today, I'm putting up my Christmas tree because actually I need it for me. It's going to make me happy. I'm sorting out my home, realigning it with all the things that I'm wanting to come into my home space, making more space for all of my craft stock and things like that for the craft classes coming up. And just settling into this version of myself, but also listening to what this version needs and what it doesn't need. So this afternoon and this evening, I will be meditating because it's needing that. It's no longer wanting me to eat the foods that I know are not good for me. My body's not enjoying it. I need to be more healthful. Even things as small, and I do mean this, right? I drink an obscene amount of tea every day. Even things like I'll go to make another cup of tea and my body's like, I want water. I can feel the need for water. I don't make the tea, I drink the water. The slight nuances that your body and your soul are going to give you are going to indicate to you what will help raise your vibration. Okay? Please pay attention. Pay attention. All right. It's time. We have put in so much work. We've all been working on ourselves. We've gone through traumas. We've gone through healings. We've walked away from relationships. We've walked away from this. We've walked away from that. Don't let all of that effort be in vain simply because we're not wrapping up the job. Okay. It's like going through all of these months and months of training and then not doing the final bit of it, the last module, in order to pass the test and get your certificate. That's what it comes down to. This is the final module. For those of you who have felt like me and have felt lost and frustrated and like you're going nowhere slowly, it's the final module. Do the work. Put your head down, study it. Study you. Study your energy. Listen to the signs. Listen to your intuition. Feel the nuances in your body. And they're going to be subtle. That simple little thing of, I'd rather have water than another cup of tea. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm giving myself from now everything that I can possibly give myself with what it needs, because that is what my energy requires for me to reap the rewards of all of this healing that I've been through and this trauma. And I do say trauma. I don't use that lightly. I do say trauma. This was an incredibly traumatic healing for me. And so I refuse to go through those kinds of healings and not reap the rewards for it, the benefits of it. Okay, so I'm going to send you all love. I hope this helps, guys. Just take moments. Just take moments. I always say that my gut is large, but she's woke. right? And all of us have that innate intuition telling us what we actually need. We ignore it because it's pushing us out of a comfort zone or it's not what we want at this point. Kelso's last message, he's saying, this is my final message for today. He's saying, this is not a time for instant gratification. And he's looking straight at me. It's not a time for instant gratification. This is about going the distance now to do the work and to put in the final push that needs to be put in before we all elevate. Okay, so big loves, guys. I'm sending you so much love, and I will catch up with you soon. So I hope that you are all going to spend some time trying to recalibrate this weekend. I'm sending you so much love. Big loves.